All right, let's dive right in. We're going to tackle two ideas that are pretty much the soul of a constitution: fundamental rights and directive principles. Now, they sound kind of similar, but trust me, they're worlds apart. So how do you keep them straight? Don't worry, I've got a super simple way to think about this that's going to make it all click. Let's get into it. Okay, to really get this, we're going to use one core idea for this whole explainer. I want you to think of fundamental rights as your own personal shield. It's there to protect you. And then think of directive principles as the nation's roadmap. You know, a guide pointing everyone toward where we want to go as a country. A shield for you, a roadmap for the nation. Got it? Cool. Let's see how this plays out. So, where do these big ideas actually live? Well, they're both right there in the Constitution, but they're not in the same room, so to speak. The people who wrote it gave them their own distinct sections. And, you know, that separation on paper is a huge clue. It tells us right away that they have very, very different jobs to do. And here you can see just how separate they are, right from the get-go. Your fundamental rights, they're all laid out in Part 3 of the Constitution. The directive principles, well, they come right after in Part 4. And look, that was no accident. This structure sets them up as two foundational but totally separate pillars of the state. So, let's talk about that shield first. We're talking about your fundamental rights. You know, stuff like freedom of speech or the right to equality. The key thing here is that they're all about you, the individual. They're designed to be your personal line of defense, mostly in that political and civil world. And here's the crucial part about how the shield works. It creates boundaries. We say that fundamental rights are negative in character, but that doesn't mean they're bad. It just means they're not giving the government a to-do list. No, they're giving the government a do-not-do list. They're all about limiting the state's power so it doesn't overreach into your life. And why do we even need this shield? Well, the purpose is crystal clear. It's there to guarantee your political freedom, to protect you when the state gets a little too powerful, and at the end of the day, to help build a society where liberty isn't just some fancy word, but a real thing for everybody. It's about keeping citizens free from being pushed around. This description really nails it. Let's break that down. Your rights are personal. They belong to you. They're inalienable, which is a fancy way of saying they can't be taken away, and they're transcendental, meaning they hold this really special, almost sacred place in a civilized society. Now that's the power of your shield. Okay, we've got the shield down. Now let's switch gears and look at the nation's roadmap, the directive principles. See, if rights are about protecting you right here, right now, principles are all about guiding the entire country toward a better future, and specifically a future with more social and economic justice for everyone. And boom, right there is the perfect contrast. While rights tell the state what it cannot do, these principles are positive in character. This time it is a to-do list. It's a set of instructions, a list of goals, telling the government what it should be actively working on to make life better for its people. You can almost think of this as the grand plan, right? The roadmap's journey is basically a nonviolent social revolution on paper. It's pointing the state towards huge goals like making sure there's equal pay for equal work, or providing humane conditions to work in, or just meeting the basic needs of every single person. The ultimate goal? To literally reshape the structure of society for the better. Wow, what a powerful way to put it. The directive principles aren't just some boring policy checklist. They're the moral compass for anyone in government. They represent the collective conscience of the nation, always pointing towards a more just and fair society. Okay, so we've got the shield and we've got the roadmap. We know one is a don't-do list and the other is a should-do list. But now we come to the single most important difference between them. The one thing, if you remember nothing else, that you have to take away. It all comes down to what happens if they're ignored. And here it is. Your shield, your fundamental rights, is legally enforceable. If the state messes with your right to free speech, you can literally walk into a court and demand justice. We call these justiciable rights. But the roadmap, the directive principles, is not. You can't sue the government because it hasn't achieved a goal like equal pay for all. They're just a guide, and they only get teeth when new laws are passed to put them into act. I'm not kidding. If you take away just one thing, make it this. Rights are backed by the power of the courts. Principles are backed by the pressure of conscience and public opinion. One is a legal hammer. The other is a moral compass. And that changes absolutely everything. So, does all this mean one is more important than the other? Well, not exactly. You might think they're set up to be in conflict, but actually, they're designed to be two sides of the very same coin. They're supposed to work together to build a truly just society. Let's break down this partnership. The shield, our rights, provides the means to an end. The basic freedoms we need to function. The roadmap, our principles, gives us the goal we want to reach, that big picture social and economic justice. Now, in terms of hierarchy, your rights are sacred. They take pride of place. But that doesn't make the principles less important. They're often about the welfare of the entire country. The roadmap might be subsidiary, but hey, it's the destination that gives the whole journey its meaning. And so that leaves us with one final thing to chew on. The shield protects us today with rights that a court can enforce. The roadmap points us toward an ideal tomorrow. So, which one do you think really shapes a nation's future in the long run? Is it the guaranteed protection for each of us, or is it the collective dream for a better society for all of us? It's a balancing act for sure. Thanks for tuning in.